This coloring book is making over $17,000. So I had one question. Can AI actually recreate something this successful, or are the best-selling KDP coloring books doing something that AI simply can't figure out? You see, coloring books are making creators a lot of money on Amazon KDP right now. And while AI can generate coloring pages in minutes, the books making the most money have something special about them. So today, I'm going to use AI to break down this best-selling Amazon KDP coloring book, uncover what makes it sell, recreate it from scratch, and see whether the final result could actually compete with the original. But honestly, halfway through this experiment, something happened that completely changed the direction of everything. Now, before generating a single coloring page, I first needed to answer one question. Why this book? Now, I could have picked just about any coloring book on Amazon, but that would have defeated the whole point of this experiment. If we're going to test whether AI can recreate a successful coloring book, then we need to study a book that's already proven itself. And this immediately caught my attention. Now, per the estimate, this book is making about $17,000 if you multiply the number of reviews by the price per book. Now, obviously, these are estimates. Nobody outside the author knows the exact number, but even if it's making half that amount, that is still an incredible result for a single coloring book. Now, at first glance, it didn't look revolutionary. I mean, the drawings weren't incredibly detailed. The theme wasn't something that I've never seen before. Even the cover looked surprisingly simple. So, what exactly was making people buy this book? And this is where Claude comes in. Now, instead of asking Claude to generate coloring pages, I wanted it to think like a market researcher. My goal wasn't to copy artwork. My goal was to understand the strategy behind the artwork. And this is a really important distinction. So I gave Claude one job. I attached the link of the coloring book listing from Amazon and I said, analyze this top-selling Amazon coloring book. Study the book cover, the content, the image style, and the quality, the hand-drawn feel. Identify every reason that it might be selling so well. Also check the customer reviews and create a blueprint that another AI tool could later use to recreate a coloring book just as competitive. Let's see what it finds. Now, while Claude was thinking, I honestly wasn't expecting anything groundbreaking. I mean, I figured it would probably tell me nice drawings, good cover, popular niche, the kind of generic advice that we've all heard before. But then, the very first thing that Claude pointed out actually made a lot of sense. Trim size plus single-sided solve a real problem. So the single-sided printing enables customers to actually be able to easily paint without experiencing a bleed through. And one also notable thing that Claude highlighted was the fact of the consistency of the theme throughout the book. Every page followed the same line weight, the same level of detail, the same style. Nothing felt out of place, which makes the book feel far more professional. But Claude didn't stop there. It also noticed something about the page complexity. I mean, the bold and easy such that it has the right amount of detail to keep things fun without being overwhelming, which makes perfect sense because if every page is exhausting to color, people are less likely to finish the book. And that's actually pretty clever. Then, Claude pointed out something that I almost overlooked. The book wasn't just selling coloring pages. It was selling a feeling. You can see hide, cozy, relaxation. The arrow for decoration, they are the actual value proposition. I mean, everything from the cover to the title to the artwork created one consistent emotional experience, and that is what customers are really buying. Now, this experiment is getting really interesting. So at this point, we already had 3 major discoveries: the consistency, the balanced complexity, and the emotional positioning. But none of that mattered unless AI could actually use these insights to create something competitive. However, quick question I would like to ask, have you ever created an AI coloring book yourself before? Leave it in the comment section. Just comment yes or no. I'd like to know what stage my viewers are in terms of their coloring book journey. So now that Claude had discovered what made this book successful, the next challenge was even bigger. Could I take everything it had just learned and turn it into prompts capable of producing a coloring book that could genuinely compete with the original? This is where the real experiment begins. Now came the part that would decide whether this experiment actually worked, which is turning all of those insights into prompts that another AI could understand. So instead of asking Claude to write a single prompt, I wanted it to think like an art director. So I first of all said, you are my AI prompt expert for generating best-selling coloring books with AI. Based on the study, analysis, and blueprint you did above, give me a title angle, bold and easy style, and 15-page scenes. Attached is the coloring book I am taking inspo from. So I attached the cover page of the coloring book, and Claude AI gave me this beautiful angle, cozy kitchen, and 15-page scenes. Now, I didn't just stop there because now I have the page scenes. I need to generate the prompts. And right now, I'm going to direct it further again. So what I did was I attached 5 pages from the coloring book I'm taking inspiration from. And what I simply did was I went to the page on Amazon, just snipped some of these pages and attached it to Claude. And I said, attached are some samples of the coloring pages in the coloring book I am taking inspo from. They are hand-drawn. I need you to study them closely as I want to replicate the style, hand-drawn feel, level of complexity, bold, thick, and complete outlines. Now, based on your study, use your analysis to give me detailed prompts of my 15 coloring pages. The prompt should reflect the necessary detail to resemble the above images in style, hand-drawn feel, slightly wobbly effect, level of complexity, bold, and complete outlines when using AI to generate them. And Claude goes ahead to break it down. I actually like how he broke everything into sections. So we have reusable style block that is at the start of every prompt, the negative prompt, then each of the prompts for the page scenes. So these reusable prompts emphasize consistency, and that's interesting because it's not just telling AI what to draw, it's telling AI how to think. But now the question became, would another AI actually understand all of this? Because we've all seen amazing prompts produce, well, this. So honestly, I had no idea what was about to happen. Now, to test Claude's blueprint, I needed an AI that was specifically built for coloring pages. So I copied Claude's prompts and I dropped it into the tool. At this point, everything depended on whether Claude's research would actually translate into good artwork. If this prompt worked, then we would know Claude had actually understood the bestseller. If they didn't, this entire experiment would fall apart. The difficulty level, I left it at children, dimension in square, 1 batch to be generated. I turned on all of this and I generated. And this was the moment of truth. Hold on, that's actually close to what we are aiming for. The line work looks okay, but I don't understand where this theme is coming from. I think it feels way too textured. Now I'm going to go back to the prompts and adjust the prompts. I'll take out the faint steamed coils. I'll take out kawaii line art. I'll take out everything kawaii. I'm not really a fan of using kawaii though. And textured rendered, I'm going to take it out. And every other thing remaining the same, I generated again. It created this, and really this is beautiful. I mean, it's heading in the right direction, but I'm looking for something with less of detail, just to keep it within the complexity and design that we're looking for. Now, I'm changing the difficulty level to toddler, and I'm hitting generate this time, and I'm hoping that this actually improves it. So I got this, and it still feels off because I don't want any shading, and I go ahead to edit the prompt, and this time I take out a lot of things and regenerate as well. Finally, we got something that is just about what we want. Now, once you get the first image prompt combination, it gets easier when generating further ones, and I'm going to show you how. So now we had the reusable prompts here, just like so. All we're going to be changing is this prompt here. Now in Claude AI, I'm going to go to the next one, which says this, and I'm going to copy that. Every other thing remaining the same and generating. Now, can you see how easier it was to get the second image? Because we already got the ideal prompt structure that can help us with future images. Now, this is really good, even though it does have a lot of texture. I'm going to show you how we're going to clean that up. And just to show you how the consistency flows, I'm going to do 1/3 one as well. This is looking really good. And that's really the point of this experiment. Not just being able to create the blueprint, but being able to create one that follows the same principles that made the original bestseller successful, and not just one page, consistent pages. Of course, I'm not going to do everything right here, so I'm just going to follow the same thing and get all the other images. So I've finished creating all of the images, and one thing I would say, this tool did a surprisingly good job translating Claude's AI prompts into something usable. I'll leave the link to this tool in the description just in case you like to try it. And another thing is that every of these images look like they can sit in the same book. Now, we have all of these images here. Can this actually become a book that looks like something people will buy? And that's exactly when something happened that completely changed the direction of this experiment. So I started uploading all of the images in Canva. And after adding the images, on first glance, the images look good. But this is where a lot of people go ahead and publish, and their images begin to look AI generated. For example, when you look at this, you can see this black shading, which is typically not wanted in a coloring book. And also you can see some of all of these contours here, which we actually don't want in a coloring book. So I clicked the image, headed into edit, and headed into magic eraser. Reduce the brush size just enough to cover that. And after covering everything, I'm going to hit delete. There's still a little dot there, so I'm just going to circle that dot and delete as well. I'm doing the same for this line, and I'm deleting. Now, this looks way much more natural and not overly AI generated. I also cleaned out the line here, and I'm doing the same for the others. This gives it a much more better look than how it was before, that had some hints of AI generated-ish. Now, I basically just scrolled through all of the images to see which can be cleaned up. This looks okay as well. However, when it comes to the cheese, typically you want to have the cheese without fill. So it having polka dots kind of gives off AI generated. So again, I'm going to go ahead and erase that. I simply searched for wobbly circle outline, and I could go with this. Now, I had finished doing cleanups on the images, but there was still one huge piece missing: the cover. And honestly, this might be even more important than the interior pages, because before someone ever sees page 1, the cover is what convinces them to click. So I went back to the same process, and I asked Claude to break down why this particular cover worked. The interesting thing was, the cover wasn't trying to impress people. It was trying to instantly communicate what the buyer was getting. Now, based on Claude's analysis, I then asked it, using your analysis on the cover page, give me a cover page idea for my coloring book. Claude AI goes to give me the idea as well as the prompt, which I'm copying and I'm going to take it back into this AI tool. Now, this AI tool is not able to generate a coloring book cover. So the idea was to generate the black and white version and then color it with the same tool. I left the difficulty level in toddler, dimension remains square. I chose 2 batches to generate just so that I have more options to pick from and generate. Okay, this is actually way better than I expected. The biggest thing I noticed is that it feels like the kind of product that we are trying to sell. So now I had this, it was time to color it. So I clicked the online coloring here, which took me to this place, still in the AI tool where I can actually play around and do the coloring myself. So basically how this works is you have like a ton of colors here and you can choose which one should go where. I choose a color from the palette. I use the paint icon and I ensure that this is on detect boundaries and simply just pour the paint, giving it a unique and beautiful glow. I use the same color here and this color for the flower I used here. For the gloves, I'm going to use red. For the hand of the glove, I would use black. For the real handle, I will use ash. And as I keep doing it, I don't forget to save my coloring record so that I can always return back to it and continue from where I stopped. So I've gone ahead to finish coloring the image. I bring it into the cover dimension, which I've already gotten from KDP Cover Calculator. And I just begin to get creative with the cover. And put the title and the subtitle. I've added a little of the images at the back for the back page. I've added the author name. And just to make it a bit spicy, I'm adding this just around. Reduce the transparency and simply duplicate. Now, I was done with the cover page and it was looking perfect. So now, when we look at what AI was actually able to do in terms of the blueprints, in terms of the creation of the images, this actually means that AI has good potential. So instead of spending hours trying to create every single illustration manually, I could take the prompts Claude created and quickly turn those ideas into actual coloring pages. Now, I'm going to show you how I prompt AI to give me the best kind of prompts that help me create the best kind of AI coloring pages that do not look generic and AI-ish. If that interests you, want to click the video you see right now on your screen and go check it out.